Everybody loves to talk about real estate, and that is what we are here to do. Hey, how's it going? I am Chris Rosser. I am a local real estate agent in the Daytona Beach area. I work with a brokerage called Palm and Pine Realty, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the Florida market, the Daytona Beach, Orlando market, and how in September of 2023, the market is looking. Now, Florida is a global hotspot, and certainly a hotspot in the United States, where the market does react slightly different than the markets in other states around the country. So with that being said, I'm going to dive very briefly into what we're seeing as the interest rates are climbing, and we are seeing those climbing interest rates as they have now been set by the Fed at 8.5%, and what that really is doing to the market around here. So if you are looking at moving into the Florida area, moving into the Orlando, Jacksonville, Daytona Beach regions, or even looking just to get a vacation home and want to understand how the market's looking, we're going to dive into a quick and solid update for you right now. Be sure to subscribe if you love Florida, if you love real estate, and you love finance. We're talking all sorts of those details here on this channel. We also have informational and fun shorts and skits. So if you want to stay up to date with those things, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Now, there are a few different graphs that I want to talk to you about, but first let's do a really quick market update. The last few years in real estate have been insane, with prices jumping and with no real sign of this stopping. Although many people since even 2017 have been saying, I'm going to wait to buy a house until the prices drop. I'm going to wait to buy a house until the market drops. Here we are in 2023, and we're only just seeing our first signs of the market slowing down and still hardly even decreasing. Now, certainly from 2020 and 2021, we have seen a massive backup of those crazy surge prices. But as I'm talking about the current market situation here, keep in mind in 2019, the average price of a home in the United States was somewhere around $250,000. And right now, as a whole in the United States, the average house price in a short amount of years has skyrocketed to $480,000. Now, that's an approximate number, but we've seen that number nearly double in a number of years, a small handful of years. And a big part of that was during COVID, when we saw people move in the masses, and also during that really low interest rate, which definitely sparked a lot of excitement. Also, keep in mind that a little less than 70% of homeowners in America have less than a 4.5% interest rate, which is stopping them from wanting to move unless absolutely necessary for family tragedy, work, or many other circumstances that would require somebody to move. But out of free will, very few of those Americans are willing to let go of that interest rate and move on and find themselves with an 8 or even higher percent interest rate. So these are little details that set the tone for what exactly is happening around the world. With that being said, there is a graph I like to talk about, and this is the competitive market graph. And it also compares Daytona Beach to Port Orange and Ormond Beach, both cities of which border the Daytona Beach area. And this is the score that we're seeing here. The score that they're giving us is a 32, and that's a somewhat competitive score. This tells us that the average home sells for about 4% below the list price, and they'll go pending in about 58-60 days. Hot homes, or homes of high value with many updates, are being sold around list price, and those are going pending in 24 days. Now, as I am saying this, keep in mind the list to sale price in the Daytona Beach area is 96.6%. So if a house is listed, 96.6% of the time, you're getting that listed price. And that's over the last year. So now that we're starting to see it drop out about that 4%, we're seeing that 96.6% being really displayed here. And that's really important information to keep in mind, because it shows that Daytona Beach and the Daytona Beach area traditionally is a very strong market where the house will sell very frequently at what is being asked for. Now, we're getting away from the part of the market where people have been fighting and throwing hands full of checks and money at people to buy properties, and we're seeing a little bit more of a competitive market for buyers. I think after the last year where we have seen ups and downs, we are finally starting to see houses sit on the market long enough that a buyer has some advantages. Now, over the last year and a half in real estate, me and my wife have been able to do deals for first-time home buyers where they're getting their closing costs even paid off by the seller, which is an amazing opportunity for first-time homebuyers and anybody looking to buy a house. But that was near impossible during the last 3 years or so in the real estate game. So over the last year, we've been able to see people able to negotiate closing costs and buy downs and different options, making it a lot more affordable for the natural American to buy a first home. Whereas during hand over fist cash times 3 years ago, any type of negotiation was very unlikely and honestly close to impossible. We are seeing that finally cool down with interest rates hitting 8.5%. Now, if you're looking to buy a home in the Daytona Beach area, there are always a lot of things to be excited about. The beach, the sun, the tourism, the community, and of course no state tax. But you do have to keep in mind that everywhere across the United States, we are seeing that shift. So you also here have the opportunity, just like everywhere else, to bargain for a better deal, to take your time, to shop around, and to see what options there are and what negotiation tactics will work for you. We aren't in the gold rush era of homes like we've seen in the last 4 or 5 years, and that really does open up an opportunity for you as a consumer, as a buyer, to be a little bit more picky and to use some more creative negotiation tactics in order to land you the home that you want. This was a very, very quick update. I wanted to introduce myself to This was a very quick update. I wanted to introduce where we're at in the global scale. We'll also be going over